I delivered this render to a client which had gold foil in it, and even though they approved it, something inside of me said the foil still looked wrong. So I completely rebuilt the material from scratch, and this is what it looks like now. The first thing that changed for me was when I realized that I was focusing on the wrong thing entirely. I used to spend hours in the shader editor itself, fiddling with the PBR textures, uploading new foil textures, trying different ones, and trying to get the material to look right. And I was so convinced that the material was the problem. By the way, if you want to take your product renders to the next level, then I have a free workshop on the 3 elements that you need to be continually improving for photorealistic renders. Links in the description, but first let me show you what's wrong with your foil. So this is the old client render, and this is the foil that I started off initially. And as I kept going, I would make a few adjustments, and then I eventually got to this here. And you can see that there's a little bit of texture in it, but it doesn't look amazing. And so what I was stuck on was just affecting the foiling here. And I spent so much time mixing everything together, trying to use noise textures, all this stuff to try to get this to look realistic. And so what I've learned recently, and what I've eventually realized, is that the foil takes on the texture below it. So foil is pressed onto paper or whatever material, and it actually takes on that same texture and material, albeit less than what the paper texture might be because it's actually pressed. So even though in this scene I used a dedicated foil material, what you can do is actually just use a paper texture, and the foil itself doesn't matter as much. And I'm going to show you how to do this in here. So I'm going to give you a bit of an example. This is divided into 3 sections here. So I've got the paper texture, the foil texture, then I have a mask. So the foil texture is just this foil from Grayscale Gorilla. Really nice foil. So you could use this, but as you can see here, not much has been changed. This is the default foil texture. It's just got a scale, and I've added a bump map to add the little bit of bump where if we can have a look, if we can see it, not really, it's not super light, like it's not much there, but that's where the flowers are. Then I just have this card paper texture, and then they get mixed together with just a mask here, foil mask. And so then it makes this. But to prove my point that you can just use the paper texture, what we'll do is instead of masking the Grayscale Gorilla foil here, we'll just add our own here. So we'll add a metallic shader, BSDF. We can pick an orange color. We can dial this in a bit later, or I might just use the color from this foil. We'll plug that in. So now we've got foil, but not looking so good. So let's go ahead and grab some of the other effects. So let's grab here the bump map from the paper, plug that in there, and already we're getting quite a long way here. We just need to tweak the color a little bit more. Make sure that we have a real sort of like orange going on. We can use the hue here to just adjust it into that orange slightly till we get there. Then we can increase saturation, something like that. Then what you'll see is over here, if I look at the roughness map and we output this directly, we're looking at the value here. So if I go Shift A and I go for the color node, and I just eyedropper that and eyedropper the roughness here, you'll notice that, let's undo that, it's about 0.5. So the roughness could, on here, we could add that to about 0.5 mid-level, and that's the roughness map that Grayscale Gorilla are using, or foil. So then we end up with something like this. And if we were to just use the exact same colors as Grayscale Gorilla's foil, I could compare it a little bit better. And then I'm just going to adjust this a little bit up and down. And this foil should now look similar to Grayscale Gorilla's. Let's turn off depth of field and let's give this a render, and I'll compare both. So now you can see that if we compare the two images, you'll notice that there's not much difference between them, and the differences that are there is just because of how the light is reflecting due to the bump map inside of the paper. So you can actually use paper textures to create your foil materials. So the things outside the shader are affecting this foil material more than the shader itself. So if we could stop obsessing over the PBR textures we're going to use, the materials, and focus on what is this being printed on. Because the foil is going to match basically what it's pressed to in real life. Now, once you've got your materials sorted, the next thing will either make your materials look awesome or absolutely kill it. And it's got nothing to do with the materials themselves. With my first client render, I spent so much time focusing on the material itself and not realizing that it was actually the lighting letting the material down. Because foil is reflective, it reflects and mirrors everything around it. And so it can either look amazing or terrible. So let's jump into the example scene and I'll show you exactly what's happening. This scene is set up with two lights or two lighting sources. There's only one light in the scene and it's a key light. And this key light, what it does is, let's pull this back, bring more of the scene into view here. It just lights a more direct light from the side. This is adding a lot of reflection to the foil itself. But this is not really the secret to the foil lighting or what's making it really pop. The secret is actually inside of the world lighting. So if you go to the shader editor, world, pull this one up, you can see here I've got a HDRI sitting in here. This one is from Grayscale Gorilla, and if we have a look at it, it's basically just a room, you can get any, plugged through a hue saturation value. What this does is, if this is default, you can see that it will cast colors. As you can see here, it casts colors onto our scene. So the saturation removes most of the color. I'm not removing all of it, but most of it at 0.1. And then it's got a strength of 1. Let's have a look at it without. This is 0. So yes, this key light is doing a lot to light the scene. But as soon as we put this back to something like 0.7, watch as I hit enter. Watch the foil. It just boosts everything and it creates all these little reflections and highlights all throughout this material. So as long as you've got a normal map plugged into your foil, you're going to get these beautiful reflections happening in your scene. So whenever you're lighting metallic or reflective surfaces, stop and think about the lighting itself. Take a look around the environment and see what your foil would be reflecting and using as highlights in your scene. This goes for glass as well. So think of foil like a bit of like a mirror to your scene. And so you're looking at more what's around to fix your renders, and foil can look completely different. Now this is a super simple setup because the environment lighting is doing all the heavy lifting. Now that you've got your material set up and you've got your lighting set up, there's one more detail that will take this from like a 3D render to, wait, is this a photograph? One of the mistakes I made very early on is not studying enough references. But recently I've made it a practice of studying references before I jump into a project or render in Blender. The reason for this is you start to notice tiny little details that take it from not looking realistic to realistic. And one of those little details is a little edge highlight, roughness, and also any bumps inside of your scene. So if we look quite closely here, it's pretty hard to see just because the textures aren't high enough resolution. But what I've done is actually added slight imperfections to the edge of this texture. And we can do this using Affinity Designer. And I'll show you how. So this is the bump map itself. And the bump map itself actually has tiny little details in here that allow this to be bumped in different ways. So think of a bump map. Black is the lowest point. White is the highest point. So this gray determines how high it pushes the B up. Now let's take a look at this deeper. So we just have a rectangle. The rectangle is there to control the color. So I can change the height. So if I want the B to sit up really nice and high, I can change the color there. So let's select this artboard and have a look at the B. So we've got the blur illustration, and this is a multiple group layer. The front, this has an effect on it, and it's actually got an outline, and it's got something called a inside contour. And so this is just a layer effect that goes over top of this. And I've put a gradient in here, which the gradient allows me to control the edges. And what I can do is push the edges so that it sort of curls. So the center smooths out and is flatter, and it creates this rounded edge. And if we decrease the size of this, you can start to see it disappear. And so we can actually create this rounded bevel edge on our scene inside of Blender. And then we've got next is a layer. This one is a layer effect. This is just a blur to smooth it out even a little bit more and to create a little bit more smoothness on the edge. Now this blur isn't necessary. If I get rid of this one, and what I'm going to do is I'll show you by exporting these two again. I've got a foil. This is my foil mask. So if I hide this, this is a foil mask, and you can see the edges here are quite rough. Now this comes from one of the effects, so we'll find it on here. And what I can do is actually just reduce this, and you can see that I've got a path brush on the edge of my model, and it's just super rough around the edges. And this is just to add a little bit of roughness, because in real life nothing ever has a perfect edge. So then what I do is I'll grab this and I'll export this, and what I'm going to do is actually export this as double the resolution. So let's go 2. This is going to be 8K. Now this definitely will take longer to render, but I'm going to sort of illustrate if you were to do this at a really high resolution, what would happen. So let's come here. This one first is our mask. So let's open up our mask here, and let's have a look at where this got saved. We'll copy this, copy 8K. Let's reload this. 8K, open. Let's go for non-color. And the 8K texture should now create sharper edges for our model. The next thing I want to do is export the displacement super high resolution. So one of the things I do in displacement on the effect, if I open it up with the blur, let's go for the next one with the contour here. In here, I actually create a little edge so that it's got this sharp transition, and this bit here, these two stops are the same color. And the reason I do this is because if we look at foil, don't know if I have any examples like close up. So this is a different type of foil. But you can see here, there's a little lip around the edge. As you can see, there's a little highlight. And so I want to replicate this inside of Blender. And so I do this in Affinity by creating a little flat edge. And this will go around the rim of it all because it's a contour. And it'll just go around the rim, and then from there it'll add the bump. So let's go ahead and export this one in let's go 8K times 2. Let's go ahead. This one is displacement, so let's select the displacement. I'm just going to also put the resolution here, and let's go ahead and switch to this. And then this, of course, is in our bump, and this is a bump group. So this is getting placed on the foil and also our paper here. And that's only because I included this embossing in the same section. So let's hit tab. And let's go into here, switch this to displacement 8K open. And now you can see it's pretty hard to see just because of the resolution, but there's this rounded edge and you could increase it, but there's a little bit of imperfections around the outside. And this would probably be a bit better if the effect was at scale. So this is quite a small detail, but as you scale this up on bottles and things like that, you can create a bigger edge. So study references and try to replicate those effects inside of Blender to make it look really cool. So that old client render, I was basically obsessing way too much on the material when most of it is outside of the material. The lighting, the imperfections done in Affinity, and also that HDRI lighting that just adds the reflections. So we can just use regular paper textures to grab our foil and make our foil because the foil replicates what we are pressing it onto. So now you know how to get your gold foil to look realistic. But if you can't get your embossing and debossing to look realistic, then your render is going to fall apart. So watch this next video to find out how to create realistic embossing in your renders. And don't forget, there's a link in the description for a completely free workshop that'll show you what makes photorealistic renders.